It is Monday, October 22nd. We'll keep our eyes peeled on ESCA as we go in on these plays. But let's talk about today. Let's talk about what we have seen so far. Let's talk about the activity, the volume, the momentum, the support, the resistance, the breakouts, my trades. And I do want to let you guys know, again, I've had 2 trades today. And what I want to do is start with my 2 trades. I took a loss today. I went 0 for 2 today. 0 for 2. And it was my biggest loss in October so far, $2,200. And I lost $2,200 on what plays? I lost SCED and I lost on CLGN. So I lost on SCED and I lost on CLGN. I want to talk about them. I want to go over them. Because there's 2 ways you guys can take a loss. A, you get disappointed, you get frustrated, you walk away, you ignore it, you come back tomorrow, right? Is that beneficial? No. Is that helpful? No. Is that going to improve your trading? No. Right? I could say to myself, oh, this stinks, it's stupid, everything else breaks out, why is everything I buy, turn? Yeah, again, anyone could say that. Is that beneficial? No. So what do you want to do? When you take a loss, figure out why you ended up taking a loss. Turn every single loss into a lesson. I did something wrong. I lost $2,200 for a reason. Let me figure it out so I don't put myself in this position again. Do I let it sting a little bit? Absolutely. Do I like losing $2,200? Absolutely not. But again, I want to go over it with you guys. I want to be open with you guys. I want to be transparent with you guys. Right now I was up over $7,500 for October, right? Now I'm all the way back down towards around $5,000. So I got to be smart. And right now I haven't taken any trades during the day. These 2 trades were in pre-market. Now, why? Why did I take 2 trades in pre-market today? Why did I wake up early, like I always do, and trade 2 stocks in pre-market? Because this is where we've been seeing a ton of rips. We've been waking up every single day, and the majority of my plays last week were in pre-market, right? Like NCTY going from $150 all the way up to $8. We've been seeing so many stocks every single morning gap up like 100%, 200%. We've even seen 300% gap ups over the past week and a half. So I've been really loving waking up early and trading the markets. Waking up at 7 o'clock and start trading maybe by 7:20, 7:30. Before people even wake up. And that's just out of what? I'm willing to wake up. I'm willing to sacrifice sleep for success. I'm willing to get up, roll out of bed, wipe the tears out of my eyes of me wanting to say go back to bed and say, no, you know what? I'd rather be paid. And that's, been a great strategy for the past, few weeks now. But today, it didn't work out. It's Monday. It's the start of a brand new week. Market conditions could start changing a little bit. I need to be smart. But we have been seeing over the past 2 weeks, massive gap ups in pre-market every single day. So I woke up this morning. First trade I got involved with was SCED. Okay? First trade I got involved with right here was SCED. And why did I buy SCED? I got an SCED right here at the price of $867 or $863. So this a stock right here. And this stock, why did I get in on this play? Is because this came out with a very nice press release, nice and early. It came out with a press release on SCED that stated we have a new strategic investor. So there's a new strategic investor going in on SCED, and I'm saying to myself, okay, let's check out this investor. This investor purchased 1.3 million shares of common stock, which would equal out to $7 million or almost $8 million. So with that being said, SCED right here, this play started moving on up. Now, we have been seeing a lot of big-time investor plays. There was one last week as well. I'm blanking out on it. It was really big. If someone remembers it, definitely let me know. But the ones that I'm thinking of is like VTVT. Again, Forbes, 1.8 million shares. It went from 72 cents, ripped all the way up to $6. We had NIO, a little while ago. NIO. We had Tesla investors, $6, ripped all the way up to around that 836 mark. That was very, a big one. We saw, that one take on off in a very nice manner. And then there was one last week that I'm blanking out on, and then we had SCED this morning. So SCED, I'm saying to myself, hey, I'm seeing VTV, NIO, we're seeing all these, big time investors. And what's happening? We're starting to see these big time movements. So SCED, this came out at 7 in the morning. 7 in the morning right here. I started looking for my entry at what time? I started looking for my entry right around the 7:30 mark. That's when I was all set up. That's when I was ready. And guess what happened? The stock, continued to go on a very nice rip. And I started buying. Why? Because I saw strong buying volume coming on in. And I was saying to myself deep down, oh boy, this is going to be the what? This is like going to be like the NETE of the day. The stock that goes from like $5, rips all the way up to like $12, right? That's what I was thinking in my head. I'm saying, oh boy, here's our, $10 ripper in pre-market. I'm in nice and early. I'm looking for the breakout through $10, up to 12, up to 14, up to 15. Oh, this is going to be great, right? But then what started happening? It turned and had a very sharp reaction back on down. Turn had a very sharp reaction, come back on down. Stock started falling, started coming back on down, lower and lower and lower. And that's where I had to get out of this play. I had to get out of this play. I got out of this. Yeah, I got out some shares at 850. I got some shares out at 810. And that, led to a pretty solid loss right here. And again, let me bring this over, of course, to you guys. You see right here. See right here, I was gotten out at 850. It was getting out at 810. And, that was bringing my loss just to about, $800. So SCED already kind of, hurting me right at the start of the day, where I took a loss and I had to sit out of that play. That was, a nice little $800 loss right there. Then after that, I'm saying to myself, okay, you know what? What can I look for? What can I be, what can I move on to? And the reason that I believed SCED started dumping on off was because there was a mob shift where everyone started seeing a hotter play, right? This started dumping on off. This started turning. And what started popping on up? CLGN. CLGN started ripping very hard. You could see right around 740. And SCED started dumping at what time? Right around 740. So I'm saying to myself, oh, you know what? Okay, SCED had a good press release, but it looks like everyone's going to be playing CLGN. So let me get out of SCED and let me buy CLGN. Because as much as I wanted SCED to be that big time ripper, I guess it's going to be CLGN. And CLGN is going to be the big time ripper. So let me get my shares in on that one, nice and early around 7:40 in the morning. And then I'll get, the what? The big time rip, the big time run. So that's what I'm saying to myself. And I look to make sure that it has a credible press release. It has a great press release, right? It says an awesome press release. CLGN says, hey, we have a global licensing and commercialization agreement for 3D bioprinting of solid organ scaffolds of human transplants, right? This is definitely a very solid, licensing, a global licensing agreement. Absolutely great. We are excited to work with this technology. It's definitely something that I was very excited about. So CLGN starts ripping on up. That's where I start purchasing on that play. CLGN starts going higher and higher and higher. And I'm saying, hey, this is absolutely awesome. Hey, this is absolutely great. But then what starts happening? CLGN starts turning. CLGN starts dumping on off. And that's where I have to say to myself, hey, you know what? This stock, I'm giving it some time, give it some time. And that's where I took another big loss. The stock just started fading. And that's where I had to cut out. And now my total on the day is I'm down over $2,000, right? So, a little disappointing on, both plays, good press releases, both plays, credible reasons to run, both plays, I believe are just kind of starting off on their rip on up. Now, yes, did they have a gap up? Yes, this had a large gap up, but then this started bringing in some volume. Yes, SCED had a little bit of that gap up as well, but then started bringing in some volume. But we have seen what? Multiple day rippers every single day. We're seeing multiple day climbers, every single day. So SCED, or excuse me, CLGN, this play, I got in right here at this 940 mark on CLGN. And then I even held a little bit while the stock got a little bit of a crack, and it just fall. And I just had to get out. And that, was a very solid loss as well. Over $1,500, bringing my total, again, $2,200 on the day. So I am down. I had to take a loss. I, gave back a lot of the gains that I made from last week. And obviously, it's something I need to learn on. I need to say to myself, okay, you made a mistake today. You held too long. You didn't cut your losses. And, now you're paying the price for it. Now, how can I handle it? I say to myself, okay, what can I do to fix it? Or I turn off my computer and walk away in frustration. Me, I'd rather fix it. So how can I fix that? With this being said, SCED, what did I do wrong here? SCED, the stock started ripping on up, started getting a nice pop. What could I have done? I could have put a quicker stop loss in, maybe around this, 840 or 850 mark instead of waiting until it came back down towards around 810 on SCED. That would have definitely cut my losses a lot quicker. On top of that, if I woke up earlier at around 7 in the morning, I would have saw the press release come out at 7 a.m. rather than waking up at around 7:15 and being 15 minutes late and not buying until around 7:30. So SCED, that's why that's giving me some trouble. I could have just woken up earlier. I could have saw it earlier. And even if I got in, let's say at 750 or let's say 780 or $8, that'd be in nearly, nearly what? Maybe nearly $1 earlier than where I was in at. And that's where the stock, ran on up, came back on down. And even if it did crash, I could have woke up profitable. So that's, me saying, hey, I could have woken up a little bit earlier, and on the fact that, I bought a little bit later, that's the reason I lost. And I had a little bit too large of a stop loss. Okay. But then I'm also saying, hey, I do have to, I can't put the blame 100% on just that because what? We have been seeing giant rips and giant runs nearly every single day in pre-market. So, Sean, while you're kind of criticizing yourself, there's also, a reasoning behind it, which, you can't get too upset about on the pre-market conditions we're in. Now, you thought again, this is me speaking to myself. I know I sound like a weirdo, that this play was dumping on off because everyone was moving over to CLGN, which was definitely a good idea. SCED started dumping off at around 740, 745, which is when CLGN started moving on up. And CLGN, started having a very nice press release as well. CLGN started spiking, a lot of activity started leaving other plays, and they started going over to CLGN. Okay, that happens. Mob shifts happens, better press releases come out, it happens. Okay, so what happened here? Why did you take a loss? Well, the big thing that I even realized, something that I even realized on this play, I was in at 940 on CLGN. I could not tell you how many times, well, I actually could tell you right now, how many times this has come up to 950 and couldn't break, 950 or 960 and couldn't break, 950 to 960 and couldn't break, 950, 960 and couldn't break, 950, 960 couldn't break, 950, 960 couldn't break. My stop loss should be right here, right below my entry, honestly, because I'm in, again, there's about 930 support and there's about 950, 960 resistance. That's a channel pattern right there. That's a channel pattern right there. My stop loss should be right underneath this channel pattern at around 924, 925. I shouldn't be letting my losses go all the way down towards these lows of like 830 or something like that. My stop loss should be right here at around this 920, 925 mark. Okay, so why wasn't it at 920? Why at 925? Maybe you got a little bit emotional there, right? Definitely a good possibility. Maybe we're seeing giant rips and giant spikes every single day in pre-market, and maybe you're saying, hey, we'll just let this go a little bit. We'll let it go a little bit. But then letting it go a little bit means what? Oh, you're letting it drop a little bit? Okay, and now it comes on up. You kind of get a little emotional, and now it drops a little bit, 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 and a little bit, and a little bit. It's just not worth it. It's not worth it, right? If you're going to take a loss, keep a nice small loss. If you're going to take a loss, you keep it small. You don't get back your gains that you made last week, right? You're in a channel pattern. The stock fell below your support line. You have to see that. Fell below the support line. You got to get out. I don't care what last week was. This is this week, right? I don't care that every single stock was spiking last week. We're not seeing that right now this week. New week, new conditions. New week, new market. New week, new psychology, new thought process. Stick to your trading fundamentals. So this is what I always like to do. Whenever I take a loss, figure out why I lost. And now I figured out why I lost. I figured out why I took a loss. I figured out what happened to myself here, not cutting out my losses. SCED was a little bit more reasonable because, a mob shift and I moved over CLGN. This one was a little bit more unacceptable to let, my loss go so low. So that is something I definitely want you guys to understand that, even I will take losses. Obviously, sometimes you guys are like, oh, it doesn't seem like, you take losses so much. Again, I'm human. I'm going to take losses. And today was my biggest loss so far in October. So as always, I just want to be open, honest, let you guys know again when I'm winning, when I'm losing, and we can go over them, of course. Now, with that being said, I do want to talk about all the other top gainers as well. I want to go over all the other top gainers, and I want to talk about why these went on the rips that they did, or why did these stocks fall the way they did, right? So let's go over these and let's talk about them and let's dive into each one of these and figure out why these stocks became top gainers or figure out why these stocks became top losers. So first one is NETE, right? NETE, this was the beast this morning. This was the one that went on that big time rip, that big time run. And actually, side note real quick, PLAG just opened back on up. Wow. PLAG just opened back on up, ladies and gentlemen. And this stock was the stock that was halted yet on Friday at 1167 and just opened up at 381. So this actually just got halted again now. And PLAG did just go from 1150 all the way down to 381. If you guys were not here on Friday, what happened on PLAG? PLAG started bringing in a lot of big time buying volume. PLAG started bringing a lot of big time momentum. PLAG started is a low float stock that buyers started moving on in. And why was that? Because last week, all traders were just so hungry for more. So last week, all traders were just saying, oh, wow, I want to look for a big time breakout here. I want to look for a big time run. And we were seeing supernovas left and right. PLAG got halted after having about an $8 spike. It got halted at around, what, 10:18 in the morning. And it just got unhalted today. So it was halted for about 3 days over the weekend, just got unhalted at around 381. Something that you guys need to understand is what? The longer the halt, the kind of more concern there is. If you have a halt that's 5 to 10 minutes, that's normal. That's when the stock can continue to climb. That's when the stock can continue to rip. If you start passing 20 minutes and halt, people start getting concerned. They start saying to themselves what? They start saying, why is the stock halted so long? What's going on here? Okay, right when the stock gets unhalted, I'm going to lock in my profit. Okay, once the stock comes out, I'm too nervous. I don't know if it's going to go up. I'm just going to lock it in. And now this play was halted again for 3 days, and now it just got unhalted, and you could see it just dropped from around that 1160 mark all the way down towards around 380. So PLAG, it's definitely scary, and that's why sometimes chasing a stock up so high definitely gets a little risky at times. Halt comes and it kills the whole entire play. That's going to be something that's going to be nerve-wracking. And this could be a reason as well why we're not seeing as many consistent breakouts today, right? What are we seeing a lot of the plays today? Well, if we look at like NETE, NETE went on a big time spike and then it dumped on off. Okay, and then we saw TOPS. TOPS had a big time, gap up and then dumped on off. Same exact thing with ESCA. ESCA is trying to hold on up, but that stock had about a 60-cent dump right here. Let's see, CLGN. That was a stock we already talked about. That stock's starting to dump on off right here. What could be happening? What could be the reason why we're seeing, stocks not be able to spike the way they were before? It could be because people are so nervous on PLAG that they don't want to get caught up in a halt right now, that people are being a little bit more hesitant, right? As I say, day traders, us traders, we're the ones who ultimately make, let's say, the market conditions in this penny stock world. Because if we have enough people buying at the same time, guess what happens? These stocks rip. And if enough people sell at the same time, guess what happens? These stocks dump. And if a stock comes up to resistance and more people, the majority sell rather than buy, guess what happens? The stock turns. So right now, that psychology, that mental mindset right now could be what? Oh, I'm nervous. I'm going to get caught up in like a PLAG. Let me, lock in my profit a little bit more quicker than I was last week. And that's why we may not be able to see as many stocks go on a big time rips or be able to hold on up. Like NETE, we're seeing massive gap up, right? NETE had a massive gap up all the way up towards $12 today and started falling on off. What was my main concern? My main concern on this play was it's going to turn into like an NCTY, where this thing was just going to dump on off after a big time gap up. What actually did turn into an NCTY was CLGN. Big time gap up has just gone red. So these big time gap ups right here, CLGN, NCTY, we're seeing it, of course, over on NETE. These big time gap ups right here are just not holding up. People are locking in their profits. These shippers, obviously shippers right here, if that's DCIX, TOPS, ESEA, GLBS, those, as we know, are some of the most risky plays. Those are some of the most gambly plays, right? Those are not easy plays. So, and a lot of those like to run in November. So make sure that you guys are checking, those out, for more of the November area. But right now they are very gambly. A lot of 50-50 plays. JTPY got acquired at 505 per share, so that's why that's not moving any higher than around the $5 mark. And that's what we've been seeing a lot. Giant gap ups in pre-market. Pre-market's been the best rippers, and then we, have been seeing those stocks kind of pull back a little bit. We just saw PLAG got halted for 3 days. Now it just dropped on off, where again a lot of traders are taking a little bit of a beating, and then just got halted again. Now what's going to happen right here? I would say PLAG, maybe watch for some quick buying on PLAG to maybe go on a quick rip on up. Now, why would it do a quick rip on up? Because the stock just fell from $11 all the way down to $3.80. Some people may think this is a bargain price. You may get like a quick $1.50 rip out of it or so. But obviously, buying into PLAG right now is super scary. Because if you buy into PLAG right now, you could possibly be getting yourself halted for a few days again, right? So we'll see what's going to happen on this play. But I wanted to go over these top gainers and figure out, what's going on with these market conditions. NETE, again, a nice solid press release, launching, a payment solution with cannabis. It's great. It's just the gap up's too big. And guess what happens? Same exact thing with NCTY. CLGN, again, awesome big gap up, nice little float. And this stock, awesome press release. CLGN, guess what happened? We have our global license agreement, just gap up too big. Guess what happened? The stock, dumps right on off. Then these shippers popping up, don't have any sort of reasoning behind them. And then after that, JTPY got acquired, as we talked about. And then we're just not really seeing anything other too consistent. And now eyes are focused over on PLAG, just kind of seeing where this play is going to be at, right? So there's not that same mindset right now of just super buyer heavy, right? Right now, right, what are people kind of focused on? Hey, let's try to find something that's more consistent. The low float world, that was insane the last 2 weeks. But, we may be sitting back a little bit right here. So let's just see what's going to be happening over these next few plays. Again, very happy for the traders who made some money in pre-market. You guys absolutely deserve it. I am red on the day. I have to stay smart. I have to stay conservative. I'm happy I went over my losses, learned from my losses. I'm letting it sting a little bit. I'm remembering this feeling because I don't want to feel this feeling again, right? So that's what I want to learn from it. It's about, again, making sure you turn your losses into lessons, not turning your losses into failures, right? So awesome job, team. Very excited to see what's going to come up the rest of this day, rest of this week. As you guys know, we're switching to TradeCaster next week. And again, that's where we're going to be starting up our small account challenge. So it's going to be absolutely great. I'm fired up. I'm excited. And if you guys have any questions, definitely let me know. But awesome, awesome work.